Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I interview founders, entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, all amazing people all around the world of crypto and blockchain. And today I have an amazing guest. His name is James Lucas. He is the co-founder of Lamina. James, welcome to the show.
Hey Jamil, fantastic to be here. Awesome to connect with you as well. I'm excited to get into this podcast and explain a bit about my background and what we're doing at Lamina.
Awesome. Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I look forward to it. And let me ask you the first question is, what is your background and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
Yeah, interesting question. Because I don't know how much logic plays into the Web3 space. Everyone has such dispersed backgrounds, right? And where they end up isn't normally where they start. But yeah, for sure. So I have a legal background. I'm from Australia and I studied law school over there. But what took me into Web3 was kind of the flexibility and the way I was able to seamlessly integrate into that like study lifestyle. I started off in community management at some of the biggest centralized exchanges that people still use today. Transitioned that into multiple leadership roles and startup roles amongst many startups. My first BD role was in a crypto wallet and integrating that into different projects and different ecosystems focused on mainly gaming and other projects where you can earn. From there, I had a couple more roles. I did smart contract security auditing sales. I did a lot of growth in terms of DEX and CEX listings. And I guess my main leadership role after that was with Double Protocol. And with Double Protocol, I was part of the team that created two Ethereum standards, and I was involved heavily in the process of getting them approved by the Ethereum Foundation. We've now deployed those Ethereum standards across 100,000 different collections, and I guess my introduction to cross-chain and ecosystem integration came when I integrated these Ethereum standards into 15 different EVM chains. And time goes on. I worked in venture building, incubation, and investment after that, and that brought me to joining the Lamina team, where I initially joined as a venture partner, helping structure the fundraising round, raising money, and naturally faded into becoming a co-founder with that. With Naren and Charles, two very talented guys that I really enjoyed working with in the very early stages in terms of structuring the venture round. And I loved what they were doing in terms of cross-chain integrations and omni-chain infrastructure and joined them there. So yeah, excited to dive a little bit deeper into Lamina and what we're building, but my personal experience in terms of like cross-chain and building solutions for people to use across different ecosystems stems from that original Ethereum standard development.
That sounds very logical to me.
Yeah, interesting. It's just interesting how you progress through the space. You know, you hear a lot of stories of people starting kind of in NFTs and transitioning to DeFi, or even Web2 people transitioning into sales in the space. And everyone in this space now that has survived the market cycles kind of has the same mindset of what are we building, and what are we focused on in terms of product that will make the experience better for all users.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So Lamina, what are you guys all about, and how do you fix the user experience issue in DeFi?
Yeah, so there is a lot of pain points. There is a lot of pain points that we aim to solve with this product. But at its core, Lamina is a DeFi protocol, a DeFi operating system that enables users to transact across chains instantly, atomically, and basically deleting the need for using centralized and slow bridges. And a user that interacts with the Lamina platform can perform swaps, lending, staking, restaking, flash loaning, and all these other DeFi transactions across chains. So whether that be an EVM chain, an SVM chain, a TON VM chain, a Move VM chain, and even Bitcoin, our platform allows a user to plug in with one unified wallet, so you don't have to connect a Phantom wallet on SVM, a MetaMask on EVM. It's one unified platform, and it makes the user interface for transacting on chain as seamless as using a centralized exchange. And by doing this, there is a lot of pain points, as I mentioned, that we're trying to solve. Firstly, is bridging. I'm sure you've had some negative experiences with bridging, Jamil.
I
Um,
haven't had negative with bridging, but I've had other negative experiences. Yeah.
yeah, it's a horrible experience. You know, even myself is like, I consider myself a crypto native, and my 4 bridging experiences of all time, of all the 6 years I've spent in this space, have just been horrid. And the fact of the matter is that it's insecure as well. $3.1 billion worth of crypto has been exploited in DeFi in total. And we're seeing over 60% of them being and originating from cross-chain bridge exploits. Bridges are also slow, take multiple transactions to sign to interact with, and a bunch of other factors that have just led people to hate bridging across chains. But it's necessary. It's a necessary transaction to perform in DeFi, because how do you access these different ecosystems and benefits and get incentivized on different chains without doing that? And that's where Lamina's cross-chain infrastructure comes in. We've been developing for about a year now a cross-chain solver network, and a novel infrastructure which allows users to interact across chains instantly, anatomically, without using these bridges. And basically how it works is that solvers compete on each chain using liquidity to fulfill transactions on each chain. So instead of being a centralized bridge, it's more of a peer-to-peer transaction, which we can get into the technical side a little bit later. But the goal is to combine this cross-chain infrastructure with a user experience in the form of a front end that has the ability to have a user sign in with a social login. And it absolutely kills the need for connecting wallets here and there, connecting multiple wallets to bridge, and just makes DeFi and interacting with DeFi a more seamless experience altogether.
We need to do it. I agree with you that it's a necessary evil, because how are we ever going to bring DeFi to the masses? We want everybody to go to Web3, right? How are we actually going to get there?
Yeah. And it's been a long road, right? We've had DeFi for however many years now. I think it's 10 years. And there is still no way for users to be able to seamlessly perform these transactions in a UX that's actually user-friendly. And what we're seeing now is security issues, compliance issues, a lot of big companies that say they're decentralized being sued by the SEC and other jurisdictions. And navigating that landscape from not only a innovation perspective and putting out a great product, but a legal perspective as well, is something that keeps me and my team up at night. And we're excited to build that and take that to market.
Excellent. So, I want to touch back based on what you said earlier. Just a couple, a follow-up question from your first response regarding your background. You helped write 2 Ethereum standards, right? I want to find out, what those were and how they work today.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a BD guy. That's where I started in Web3. And these Ethereum standards, I was approached to join a team, a very strong team out of Singapore called Emoji DAO. They're doing some great things in the DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure space now. But we created 2 Ethereum standards, ERC 4907 and ERC 5006, respectively upgrades for the 721 NFT that OpenSea introduced and the 1155 NFT that Engine introduced. And I was basically responsible for taking these Ethereum standards to market through strategic partnerships, and it allowed me to work with projects like Decentraland and Sandbox and a bunch of other top crypto games that you saw flourishing in the market of 2021. And basically, these upgrade Ethereum standards allowed users to wrap the user rights to their NFTs and distribute them out fully on chain in a decentralized way. And in short, this basically allows for fully decentralized rentals, because when the user wraps their rights and rents it to someone else, there is also a timing model attached which burns the wrapped NFT when the rental expires. And this was a very innovative piece of tech for its time. We saw NFT hype really exploding in 2021, but we saw probably about 90% of that volume come from non-utility NFTs, as I like to call them. Lots of people like to call them IP NFTs, but basically PFPs. And that was my first really technical step into the world of smart contracts. And it was a challenge for me, because not only was I trying to pitch the adoption of very new tech to startups that were already successful in what they were doing within themselves, such as Decentraland had one of the biggest metaverses of all time. Their land parcels were selling great, transacting great, but the idea was, what if you can make these parcels rentable? And we pitched that. It took us months to integrate, and we finally came with a use case where we've got this decentralized market for rentals integrated within their platform, powered by my Ethereum standard, which is really cool. But the main point here is that we were able to deploy this across any EVM chain, and we're even working on an SVM solution for this. And what was cool about that was games from all chains could leverage our tech. And this really brought to me the notion of fragmentation across chains, right? We have rollups as a service now. We have billions of dollars in funding going into layer ones, layer twos, and layer threes. And users are always incentivized to go to different chains and interact with them, farm airdrops, leverage liquidity, yielding on each chain. There's always fresh rewards and fresh hype on new chains. And what Lamina does, it allows users to lowers the barrier of entry for users to access those new yields, those new chains that provide these incentivizations for people to join. And it's really a first of its kind solution where that can be accessed from one unified front end.
That sounds good. Yeah, you said fragmentation there. My concern about DeFi being, so fragmented that all the airdrops are different, that all the staking is different, that there's no uniform way for people to understand, all this stuff what to do. How do you fix that?
Yeah, and that's the golden question, right? How do you fix all this supply of opportunities when there's only limited liquidity coming in from users? And not only is there limited liquidity, there's limited actual DeFi users. Because I'm a realist, Jamil, and I know that over half of the liquidity flowing into crypto is from centralized exchanges and people wanting to benefit from the appreciation of tokens that they buy. And when I say over half, I mean probably a large majority, right? And the goal here is to create an experience where users can have this centralized trading experience like you would feel on Binance or Bybit, but it be fully on chain. So you get the benefits of on chain DeFi trading and decentralized swaps decentralized lending, for example. So this problem of fragmentation is quite rife, and it's quite a strong issue right now in the world of DeFi. And how do you solve that? Is what a lot of platforms and a lot of projects are competing to achieve today. How Lamina aims to solve that is by creating the most seamless UX possible for a user that could be, my mum, your mum, anyone's grandmother, to be able to access this platform and access these features like you would on a centralized exchange. And that's done through our chain abstraction tech and all the cross-chain infrastructure in the background of it is intended to be hidden within the platform so that a user doesn't actually know that they're transacting across chains with their liquidity from the front end.
That sounds good. What do you do hypothetically? You guys, because this comes from experience too. You guys have your platform, everything's running well, everything works for a while, and then someday, somehow, for some reason, you become bankrupt. Your platform no longer works. The customers can't access their money. How do you handle that?
Yeah, it's very interesting, and we've been very exposed. The team has talked about this internally a lot, and we've all been exposed to hacks, security breaches, projects failing, projects rugging, and even the big FTX failure of 2022. And we've talked about this internally, and there's a lot of things that we're doing to mitigate these kind of risks. Obviously, in DeFi, the goal is to have everything decentralized, and the mission to decentralization is, as I said, a mission. It's a journey. It's a step-by-step process, and once achieving that, will allow the protocol to run on its own, governed by smart contracts. But on the way to achieving that, there is a couple of steps we've taken. For example, we've integrated institutional grade security measures. These appear in the platform as alerts, but on the back end, it's real-time monitoring from security solutions. And this is a joint venture from a cybersecurity team that's worked with government authorities before. And basically, this feature will constantly scan the transactions that our platform is interacting with and ping any smart contract vulnerabilities that occur in real time. And this allows our smart contracts to automatically withdraw funds from interacting with the security breach. So that's one measure we're taking in terms of security. There's a lot of other measures. For example, myself having a compliance background, we know how important it is to stay compliant in terms of anti-money laundering laws, especially in the US. And we've also got this real-time monitoring structure for pinging wallets that have interacted with blacklisted wallets so that institutionals and users avoid breaching those regulations. So in terms of security breaches and compliance breaches, we are fully focused on making those features as seamless as possible on the front end, extracting them from the tech that's being used on the back end. Now, in terms of avoiding something such as the FTX crash, users' funds will be kept fully on chain inside the Lamina platform, which allows them to access through a social login, but keep their assets fully on chain. As I said, everything we're doing is fully on chain, and the goal is to create a UX surrounding this so that users don't actually know they're transacting on chain. So what we're doing is bringing the security of holding assets on chain to a centralized feel when it comes to user experience.
The centralized feel was actually decentralized, which is what people want.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of our team has worked in centralized exchanges before. We have team members from Binance, Bybit, HTX, Kraken, which is really interesting for a bunch of DeFi degen builders. And we're one of the things that brought us together is that we're really focused on bringing this user experience that we've worked on before into an on-chain experience, and that led us to team together and build this.
Excellent. So, yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit, and let's talk about the role of social media and bringing people in. What's the role of Twitter and Telegram in bringing new users into DeFi and being able to use your platform and others like yours?
Yeah, we at Laminar are strong believers that DeFi users live on Twitter and Telegram. And although it's not like the most safe for work community over on Twitter, it is where people become influenced. That's the number one spot where people learn their news. People keep up to date with founders, KOLs, and also not only that, but seek new opportunities to get involved with new incentivized programs, campaigns, new chains that are popping up, fundraising announcements, and everything. And that all lives on Twitter. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. And the fact that Twitter, or X now, is now controlled by a figurehead being Elon Musk that is bullish and crypto friendly is only adds to that. So we're excited to see where he takes that. But you also brought up Telegram, and Telegram is an ecosystem with almost 1 billion monthly active users, which is ginormous. And Telegram also has their own blockchain now, launched a couple of years ago, and actively has developers building on that ecosystem too. And one of our focuses is to leverage Telegram's platform and integrate the TVM ecosystem into Laminar to allow easier onboarding and offboarding of liquidity from the Telegram users and ecosystem. For example, using our tech stack, a developer that's building on EVM on Solidity code is able to leverage liquidity in users from Telegram, which is TVM, and have a seamless experience in deploying applications on Telegram. And what does that do for developers? It allows them to not experience that friction of developing on a new language by leveraging Laminar's cross-chain infrastructure. And for users, it's as simple as being able to transact from a Telegram interface across many chains. So Laminar will also be building a Telegram app, which allows users to access and trade across chains just from their Telegram. The whole goal here is to make things as seamless as possible, and user experience is our focus. So when we bring that to Telegram, we allow this massive conglomerate of users to be able to access meme coins on Solana, how they would like to be able to access transacting USDT on Ton, like everyone does. And just the monthly active users of Telegram alone highlights how important it is to the space. Not all of these users are crypto-based, but we can allow them to transact in crypto through a user experience that is Web2 user-friendly in Laminar, and have them not knowing that they're transacting on the blockchain in the first place, which is really exciting to us.
I've been on. I keep calling it Twitter, but I've been on X for a number of years.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the X. I got a big problem with Telegram, and it's not the functional, way Telegram works. It's every investment that I've had, it has a community. And recently, the past several months, a lot of the community members in each of the, even though it might be a top blue chip coin, are bashing and trashing the team and bashing trashing the crypto, and you're like, you don't know who to believe, and then you try to look at their backgrounds and you can't because they're all anonymous.
Okay.
So how's the user experience going to be improved if Telegram can't give you the background and the insights and who's actually posting and speaking, and because they might be like not have any holdings, but they might have minimal holdings or not be a voice, and you can't tell. How can we clean that whole thing up?
It's interesting because the sentiment of crypto and DeFi users is crazy. It's all over the place. When the market's dumping, everyone's pissed, everyone's attacking developers, everyone's flooding everything. And when the market is happy, when the market is exploding, everyone's actively searching for the next token to get involved with. And um, either way, these reactions lead to people trading and people interacting with the ecosystem, and bringing attention to the ecosystem, which is what's needed. And I think new tech will always have people that are skeptical, and it is quite volatile. You're right. Um, the way that Telegram has a lot of plans in place to combat this issue of KYC, for example. To sign up to Telegram, you need a phone number in the first place. But that can absolutely be bypassed. And I guess the most important thing is that each person should have a on-chain personality, which appears in the form of a wallet on chain. And this wallet will hold your assets, and those assets will, I guess, show which communities you're a part of, which platforms you're interacting with, and whatever that wallet says just determines the platforms that you're involved with. Now, being anonymous is something that we commonly see in the space, even for founders, and I guess there are a lot of reasons why people do that. Maybe it's for compliance reasons, maybe it's for privacy reasons, who knows? But I think everyone needs to understand that the culture in the crypto space is extremely different to anything Web2 we've ever seen before. And people are degens, and I believe that any attention brought to the ecosystem is good attention, because these people are ruthless, Jamil. They will get to the bottom line of who's interacting with what wallet, who's insider trading what, who dumped what tokens at what time, and it's another way of holding people accountable. So very interesting point. I'm seeing a lot of FUD and a lot of people running around saying some wild stuff in Telegram groups as well. And yeah, sometimes it's really enjoyable, to be honest. But it's definitely a pain point, and yeah, we've all experienced it.
Enjoyable is a different adjective than I expected, but hey, I like your take. So, um, I want to talk about a word you brought up. It's called degen.
Yeah.
I associate degens with Gen Z. I am a degen myself. I'm Gen X.
Yes.
I just call myself a sod, you know, sort of guy, and and that was normal, for me. But
Yes.
I look at my distribution of listeners, very like nobody under 17, 5% boomer, 82% either millennial or Gen X, and some people 13% Z.
Okay.
What do you see as the generational differences, between the people who are interested in DeFi and crypto, and how are they investing and trading? What's their behavior? How's their behavior different based on generation?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, and I think more of the older generations are starting to get involved just because they're they might have experienced the uproar of the internet in the 90s, or some other innovation that happened in their lives, and they kind of realize that it is happening again and it's not a scam. And a lot of the older generations aren't open to change. And there are some people that are, but a lot of them aren't, and a lot of them are very resistant. But a lot of them that I've talked to are very open to crypto and Web3 being the future. And it's interesting that you bring it up because podcasting is a long form is a long form piece of content. And I think that older generations would be more attracted to this, right? Whereas Gen Zs are all like short form TikTok, blast in your face, constant action. Um, the main difference, the main difference is that Gen Zs and younger generations have a much higher risk appetite. And I think much higher risk appetite is a direct translation of what degen means. They're willing to put their money out there into stupid meme coins, stupid DeFi protocols that are promising you 10,000 APR. And it's I don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe we're just open, the younger generations are just open to more change. But I guess that the younger generations are digital native. Now, we are seeing more older generations adopt crypto, especially in last cycle with the whole FTX boom. And that kind of marketing made crypto sound really friendly and easy to get involved with from a older generation perspective. Even my grandmother was involved in buying some tokens at the top of last market, and their risk type appetite is definitely not as much. You know, I'm seeing older generations invest in stuff like real estate that they're used to. But the new generations are definitely taking over this space. Young and ambitious builders are often the most successful because the ideas are flowing and they're heavily flowing. One thing I'd like to add though is that bringing in experience from older generations, especially Web2 experience in business and startups, is definitely needed in terms of advisory. We've worked very closely with a lot of older advisors on how to structure corporately and operationally our startup. And this experience is definitely needed. You know, there's a lot of scenarios. I won't name them because I don't want to point out any names, but there's been a lot of scenarios this year where younger teams have made mistakes, whether it's in tokenomics or development or just plain business operations. And we definitely need more of the older generation to come in and advise us from a business perspective. But I love the uproar of young and ambitious creators and builders happening in the space right now. And that's part of the reason why I love this ecosystem.
Yeah. So do I. I think maybe too with the Gen Z is they have a higher risk appetite because they haven't been beaten down by life yet. They don't have,
Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true.
you know. So yeah. So hopefully they won't be. All right. So I want to come back to this concept of shortcomings of bridges, right? And assets. You say we're talking about a little bit more about technical stuff, right? What are the shortcomings of bridges, for cross-chain transactions?
Sure. And there's a very simple way to put this. So, for example, if I want to bridge from, let's say, one EVM chain to the other, to another, Ethereum and BNB, there is probably about 8 or 9 different transactions you have to sign off on, or different actions you have to take, logging into your wallet, connecting your wallet to the bridge, uploading funds, and maybe transitioning those funds across tokens on the native chain. So that goes on and on and on until you have to actually bridge, which potentially takes hours to actually execute. Then you have the security vulnerability potential of that while bridging, and you also have to do sign transactions on the destination chain. With Lamina and through our cross-chain solver infrastructure, we cut this down to probably about 3 actions, which involves just logging into your wallet, transacting by choosing the tokens you want to transact across which chain, and pressing the execute button. And why is this so important? Well, the higher barrier to entry for different chains and interacting with different DeFi protocols really hinders the ability for people to get involved in different ecosystems. Through the Lamina platform, uh, people will be able to easily access DeFi protocols and different chains that they want to. And a big thing that we're focusing on is taking the liquidity of Bitcoin. The liquidity of Bitcoin is ginormous. There's billions and billions and billions of dollars that is just sitting there in Bitcoin, not being used. And our mission is to take just a fraction or just a percentage and slowly scale this up of that stagnant Bitcoin and allow institutions, allow whale holders to deploy that into yields across many different chains, across many different ecosystems, and be able to finally start leveraging DeFi to earn a yield on that Bitcoin. Something that has not been done in a seamless and successful way. People are currently trying to make this happen through wrap standards, which are clunky and hard to bridge to. And there's other pieces of tech attacking this space, but people are forgetting one thing, and that's the user experience. And this is extremely important, especially when it comes to users and institutions that hold this money, want it to be secure, want it to make sure they're not interacting with any wallets that will breach anti-money laundering laws. And that is Lamina's focus at its core.
Got it. Thank you. I have two last questions.
Of
One's
course.
you know, yeah. The first one is this. It's August 2024. You
Yes.
know, I expected DeFi Summer 2.0. We're not going to see. Looks like we're not going to have it. When are we going to have DeFi Summer 2.0?
Yeah, I'm waiting too. I'm waiting too. And I'd love to get your opinion on this. Yeah, you speak to a lot of founders as well, and innovative founders to say the least. But I definitely think a run up in the market is coming. I definitely think that it's after gaming and NFTs last cycle, it's DeFi's turn to take over. I think that the solutions for DeFi are becoming stronger than we've ever seen before. And I believe that platforms, especially Lamina, will allow DeFi to be easily accessible to a broader audience. Now, does that mean there'll be a DeFi summer where every token pumps? Who knows? People ask me, my friends and family ask me all the time which tokens to buy, and I say, I have no idea. I'm a shit trader too. But what I can say is that the user experience that is being developed is something that's top notch and will allow for new people to come in and hopefully at a large scale that allows us to have that DeFi summer we want. But yeah, what's your opinion, Jamil?
I think we have to. I think we have to get, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, but we have to get the traditional finance companies to embrace DeFi. And once they do, then DeFi will be everywhere.
Yes. Yes. And one step at a time, right? We've seen ETFs pop up and we've seen the prospect of more ETFs popping up. Is that a step into DeFi? No. No, not yet. But is it a step in the right direction? Yes.
I agree.
And also in funding as well, fundraising as well, we're seeing larger funds like PwC, Franklin Templeton, these traditional Web2 big fours and funds start to get involved in investing in early stage ventures, which is something that on the back end is really exciting to me and really bullish to me. But yeah, that being said, DeFi adoption is still a couple of steps away for the big institutional players.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
So I want to thank you very much for talking to me today. I enjoyed our conversation. I have one last question. It's easy. How can people find out more information about you and about Lamina and participate in what you guys are building?
Sure, sure. Yeah, we're about to start actioning our marketing campaigns very soon. We've focused firstly on building a tech that is secure and something that's innovative. We've been building this tech for a year, but you can find us at lamina.finance, and that'll have all of our social links there for you to access and get involved. For me, my name is James Lucas. You'll see me around, but maybe we can link my Twitter or LinkedIn or something here for people to find. But yeah, anywhere where there's DeFi and crypto and taking this to a mass audience involved, I'll most likely be there. So thank you so much, and really appreciate the time, Jamil.
Thank you very much for your time today.